All right. Live. I know this is a midday motherfucker right here. Midday last minute type stream. I know you guys start following in here in a second. So I'm gonna give you guys a second before I get too deep into the stream. It ain't gonna be a long one, guys, no more than about an hour. So I'm waiting for you guys to fill on in before I get started. I hope most of you, if not all of you, are having a good Wednesday recovering from the 4th of July. Oh, hold on. I got another one playing. Oh, here we go. Turn that down. Yeah, I got like 3 different things going on. So anyway, this isn't a bashing stream to bash Greg Doucette or anybody that's been making content on Joe Linder. This is me giving my personal opinions on what's going on. I see my cousin in the chat. Hey, cuz, at the VA out there working at the VA in a disclosed location. I see you in the chat. I'm waiting for the rest of you guys to file in, but this isn't going to be a roast screen. I'm going to give my opinion on the videos that I've been seeing. And my main question is, why is everybody saying all these rumors? Now, like I showed earlier, guys, I had 4 of the COVID vaccines myself, and I'm fine. Everybody can't receive vaccines because of health issues, and some people that have been receiving the vaccines have been having some issues. Now, before I dive deep into that, and before we get too lost, and like I said, this isn't to point fingers. This isn't to say that so-and-so is the reason why so-and-so is dead. This stream isn't about this. We're going to talk about what we do know, and then look at all the possible contributing factors that could have led to Joe Linder's death. So once again, I hope you all doing well. Just waiting for some more to get in. There's 4 people watching now, so it's a last minute stream, guys. I really wasn't going to do nothing till the end of the week, but there are so many videos popping off about Joe Linder. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give my 2 cents. So let's get started, shall we? The rest of you guys will file in, or you'll rewatch it later as I post it on YouTube later on and it reformats. So Joe Linder passed last week. And Greg Doucette came out with a video initially. And in that video, Greg Doucette stated that, he was training Joe a while back. And that he knew that Joe wasn't on a high stack of PEDs that he used to be on. Okay? He also stated in that video that Joe was taking a lot of caffeine. I think like 4 liters a day. That's like 2 full pots of fucking coffee, like 14 cups. And it got a lot of people talking. And then Joe Linder went on Bradley Martin podcast and, expressed that he had 4 of the vaccines from COVID. And that his blood work was off and that he had like some metal or something in his blood. Now, let's talk about the COVID vaccine real quick. Hey, what's up? What's up? We got another Texas in the house. Yeah, Texas in the house. What's up, man? Let's talk about the COVID vaccine, shall we? Now, like I showed on my previous video, this is my wallet, guys. This is my wallet. In case you guys are wondering, I can pull it out. I'm gonna hide my face, but this is my shit, okay? This is me. All right, so this is my wallet, okay? Now, I have had, in case you guys didn't watch the video, here is my CDC card. Like I said, I'm gonna hide out my information. I don't want nobody to get shot trying to come to my house. But I have had all 4 of the vaccines. I never had a negative response to them. I usually get the flu shot yearly as well. But I do believe in your immune system. Now, there's a reason why and particularly when I received the vaccine. Number 1, I have a family. And number 2, I have a son that's autistic. Okay? For those who don't know what autism means, that means that my son has a learning disability. And his way of communicating is a little bit different than the normal person, right? Smart as hell, but he can't tell you certain things that's going on with him. So I decided to protect him and the rest of my family. I have the vaccine. Now, that doesn't stop you from getting COVID, and that's not saying that the vaccine can't have consequences down the line. There have been a lot of people that have had the jab. You call it the jab. I'm just gonna fucking call it COVID. The COVID vaccine, okay? Fuck being censored. Some of you guys got the jab, and you have negative effects from it. Same can be said for the flu vaccine and any other vaccines. You can always have a negative effect from the shot. You don't know what it'll do to you till it get into your bloodstream. There have been a lot of clot-related issues relating to the COVID vaccine. There have been a lot of people that have developed clotting and have died from the COVID vaccine. But that happened with the flu vaccine and any other vaccine that you might be taking. It's always a risk to anything of an outside force that you put in your body that could cause a issue. Oh yeah, my son's amazingly smart. Amazingly smart. Now, there is a chance that the shot could have had something to do so random with Joe passing. Okay? But aneurysm, based on what his girlfriend said. And once again, guys, everybody like, well, how does she know? How would she know? No autopsy has been performed yet. Let me tell you something. An autopsy just doesn't mean that a pathologist has to cut you up. That's not what an autopsy is just defined as. They just need to see a cause of death. And there are multiple ways of getting a cause of death. You have MRI scans, you have CAT scans. Okay, you'd be surprised how many dead folks have x-rays done on them to determine the cause of fucking death. It's not just that they have to cut you open, dissect you, and look at any other issues that may have led to the aneurysm. If paramedics arrived there and realized he had bleeding from the eyes, the nose, the mouth, out the ear, that's usually a telltale sign of trauma in the head. After an MRI scan or a CAT scan, they can clearly probably see where he had an aneurysm. Okay? Now, the underlying cause of that aneurysm could be, determined in an autopsy if they pursue to do one. But if they did a X-ray or MRI or a CAT scan right there, and they realize, yeah, this man died from aneurysm, there's no need to do an autopsy. That's his cause of death, a aneurysm. And I believe what the girlfriend is saying. A lot of you say, oh, I wouldn't take that with a grain of salt. If it wasn't something that's out of the norm, they don't have to do an autopsy. And I know he died in Thailand. And I understand medical science in Thailand might be a little bit behind than over here in America. But you don't necessarily have to do an autopsy for everything. They can determine the cause of death right there. There's no need for it. It's a wasted resource, right? So I'm going off what she says, that he had an aneurysm. Okay? An aneurysm is a weakness in blood vessels. All right? I gave an example of the hoses on your car, in your engine, vacuum leaks. When you have a leak in a hole, air can escape or get in, right? Same with a blood vessel. The weakness in the blood vessel causes blood to pool up in that area until it gets under so much pressure that that weakness explodes, and that causes the aneurysm. Smoking can cause it. One of you guys pointed out something very noticeable in the last Joe interview that I did, but the one I did 2 days ago. You can bump your head and have trauma on your head the day or two before, and if it's a bad enough trauma, a bad enough head bumpage, it can cause a weakness in a blood vessel, and you can have an aneurysm. That have happened before. There's a plethora of things. Vince Gilger made a video explaining about how lean he was that could have led to that. I think he said bradycardia, where your heart rate is always low. Well, a very low heart rate might not be dangerous in itself, but long term, if your oxygen level get low. Hey, what's up, Scholar? If your oxygen level get too low with a low heart rate, that can lead to some clot issues. And if you have a weakness in a blood vessel somewhere, that clot can hinder that, and you can have a aneurysm. Multiple things can cause aneurysms. So we just don't know. PEDs, yes. A diet, yes. And how do PED cause it? Well, when you're ingesting a lot of testosterone, it raises your cholesterol. Cholesterol can cause the arteries to shrink over time from plaque buildup. And if there's a weakness in the artery somewhere, boom, aneurysm. Having a high blood pressure, your heart rate's constantly up, boom, aneurysm. If Joe was under a lot of stress from being lean, right, that can keep your cortisol hormone high, stress level high, heart rate high, you can develop insomnia. There are a plethora of things that can lead to long-term having an aneurysm on you. Now, Greg Doucette done made a second video, and it's not like the first one where he just came out and was saying that he was training, Joe Linder, and that he was drinking the coffee and all that stuff there. And he's trying to do damage control, and I can kind of understand why Greg is doing it. And this is his biggest mosquito. Hi, Greg. You might be watching because I tagged you. But I don't think we should point the finger at Greg Doucette based on training stuff. Because a lot of people are doing that, based on his training. Based on this. Right? And so now a lot of people looking at Greg like, hey, motherfucker, You know, you have a track record of some shady ass shit. Is there anything that you're leaving out that we don't know about? Now, I find it hard to believe that Greg made Joe do some shit over in Thailand that he shouldn't have been doing. Okay? It's up to Joe to take the advice of his personal trainers or coaches or whatever the fuck he was under when he was dealing with Coach Greg. All right? But at the end of the day, when Greg brought all the caffeine, a lot of people went haywire. So Greg is trying to clean that up. And like I said, I understand why he's doing it. It looks kind of shady though, Greg. You know, you should still about what you believe in. Now, my boy John Bravo did a video. And he pointed out a lot of the stuff that had a lot of people buzzing about Greg Doucette. And a lot of people went out to John. Well, you shouldn't be saying that. What John was reporting on all the shit that he had been seeing in the fitness community. And oh, well, we know that Joe was dealing with Greg, so maybe Greg has something to do with it. John was just giving his 2 cents. Okay? Here's the thing about rumors and speculations, and this is why it's very, very counterproductive to take something and then add your 2 cents to it, right? And then put a video out there. I'm going off what his girlfriend said, but it's like 30, 40 different videos out that it wasn't an aneurysm. It was from low body fat percentage. It wasn't an aneurysm. It was Greg Doucette was training him, and Greg probably gave him bad dieting advice. You know, maybe it was all the caffeine. His girlfriend clearly stated he died from an aneurysm. Why not leave it at that? Okay? And then try to talk about some of the things that could have led to the aneurysm. Not Greg killed him based on his coaching skills. Because that stir up a lot of shit. And I understand the TT boys, the trend twins, they stopped, and Greg Doucette isn't coaching them no more based on they had bad blood working a lot of shit. But guess what? The trend twins was juicing way before they were starting to being coached by Greg to do bodybuilding shows, okay? Their health was already fucked up, all right? So we can't just say based on the twins not fucking with Greg Doucette no more, and that their health is all fucked up, it's from Greg Doucette. No, it's from what the fuck they was doing. Now, Greg probably told them to do certain things, but once again, everybody trying to connect the dots with Joe Linder passing because Joe Linder has something to do with Greg Doucette. So, I'm not going to make any more videos pertaining to this. That's why I'm doing a live stream. I'm letting you guys know. Because I believe he died of aneurysm. And I think that the truth's going to come out here very, very soon. Because there's going to have to be some damage control. This isn't like the Leo case where he was murdered and don't nobody know what happened. This is a case of a man passing in his girlfriend's arms. And then she reported that it was an aneurysm. And then the whole community's up in arms because they don't believe that it was an aneurysm. They believe it was something else more nefarious. Okay? I mean, there are people right now that want to blame the government, right? Because he took the jab. Okay? Joe had a choice. Just like I had a choice. I didn't have to take it. He had a choice, but he wanted to take the shot. And like I say, there's a chance if he took the shot recently, if it's been over a year ago, there's no telling what else Joe was doing between that time frame he took his last shot. But the facts are what we know and what his girlfriend reported is an aneurysm. So guys, let's just leave it at that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to leave comments. Well, what about this and what about that? When you start to get into debates like that, it only keeps the speculation train going. And then next thing you know, they be saying his girlfriend poisoned him or gave him something to raise his blood pressure up. And that's not good neither. That's very counterproductive. And then you'll have all the Joesthetic people up in arms, ready to just, instead of honoring the man and his legacy and what he left behind, they'll be ready to tear up a lot of shit. Because they heard so-and-so reported this, and then so-and-so said this, so it must be this. I know Derek from More Days More Place did a video, Big Rich Steve did a video, and like I say, bodybuilding as a whole is very dangerous because of the extreme dieting you go on, the way you dry yourself out because you want to look all grainy and vascular, and you take diuretics for that, and all that abuse long term can lead to weaknesses in blood vessels that lead to aneurysms. Most bodybuilders, however, die of cardiac arrest. Yo, what's up? Yeah, we live for about another 10 minutes. I'm about to get off. But most bodybuilders die from cardiac arrest. And that's one of the reasons why Vince Goodrum said what he said, because most bodybuilders do. They die from cardiac arrest. But, I'm going to say it again. His girlfriend said something different, so that's why I'm rolling with, because she was there, first-hand knowledge. She's there. All right? She's there. But extreme dieting, the foods that they eat to keep all that muscle tissue, if it's high in sodium, it's going to raise your blood pressure. And the higher your blood pressure is for long periods of time, eventually you'll develop chronic high blood pressure disease. I was going to live stream this weekend anyway, so there's one set for Saturday most likely. So it's gonna be packed full of shit. Like it'll be like one of those 2-hour streams. So Saturday's gonna be the chill stream, full of fun stuff. I already got it planned for Saturday. I don't know about streaming video games, man. I get kind of amped up, but I don't want to get off topic because this is for the Joe Linder fans. I gotta stick to I want the Joe Linder fans to understand that Joe lived he enjoyed his life, but it was a very dangerous lifestyle because of everything Joe was doing to keep the physique that he was trying to maintain. Okay, I want you guys to understand that he died doing what he loved. Okay. Sweet Scholar, thanks for the heads up. He died doing what he loved. Okay. I want you guys to understand that. That's why we shouldn't paint this man death in vain. He enjoyed health. He enjoyed fitness. He always encouraged people not to get on the sauce. He encouraged that. I remember him and Larry Wills were doing a sit-down video, and he had told Larry that some of the stuff he was taking, he just had to leave it alone because it was just too much for him. He was an advocate of health. Okay? He had some freaky genetics, especially that little muscle issue thing he could do when he opened up his chest, the way he could stretch out his chest, and you could see his muscle fibers just twitching. Like, the shit was fucking crazy. Steroids could have played that, Johnny. It could have. See, that's the thing about steroids. Depending on what stack he was taking. And I'm not a big steroid expert, but, I have clients that actually take the shit. They just want some different advice than what they've been used to hearing. And some of my advice ring true, some of it don't. But with steroids always comes a risk. Because you don't know exactly what you might be ingesting into your body. You may think you're getting tested, and it could be something else, right? But when you're taking steroids and you're training like a madman and you're keeping your stress levels high, and, if you're not hydrating properly and you're doing a lot of eating with high sodium foods and all that stuff, you can really expedite a risk of having an aneurysm or a heart attack just based on those factors alone. That's why the people that abuse steroids, they die so young versus the people that don't abuse them. They live a pretty lengthy lifestyle, a long life, right? And I'm not saying Joe abused steroids because based on what Greg said and based on what other people have been saying, that he was on a very low dosage. He had came down. Okay, so I don't think abuse played a factor in him dying from just the steroids. I believe the dieting, maybe not being properly hydrated, a outside chance of maybe the COVID shot, but I believe it was something probably very minute that Joe probably kept overlooking. He could have got injured a couple of days prior to this. I know he was saying about a pain in his neck. That could have been a red flag. And typically with aneurysms, they can happen just like that. But normally there are stages. Normally you'll get headaches. Depending on where it's at, you'll get headaches. Very bad headaches. They'll come and they'll go. Kind of like with a heart attack. You'll start to have symptoms a lot of times to where you're having chest pains. They'll come and they'll go. And then over time, they'll begin to get more chronic and more debilitating. Aneurysms can happen that way too. And a lot of times people just think that they're migraine headaches. Maybe from seasonal allergies, maybe just from stress, too much light, so they don't think to go get checked. I always tell people that if you have a headache and it's lasting longer than a day or two, but really about 2 days, and you've been taking ibuprofen and things of that nature, go get checked out. It could be something more serious going on. Same with your chest. If I train my chest and don't train it for a week, which is my dealer week, I'm off virtually this week. I'm not doing no weightlifting at all. If my chest started to hurt out the blue, and I haven't been really straining it out, and then it lasts for longer than 2 days, now I'm starting to get other issues like down the arm and other pains, I'm going to the doctor because I could be having a heart attack. It could just be some nerves. It could be anything else, but I want to rule out heart attack. I want to rule out aneurysm. A lot of bodybuilders don't like going to the hospital because they don't want to hear what they blood work might show or anything they might see on a CAT scan or x-ray that might say, hey, you're done training. You can't keep taking this. You're going to die. So they don't want to go and get seen. So it's hard to say if he had any symptoms leading up to the initial aneurysm, right? But normally the body just don't do those things without warning signs first. In rare cases, it can. But a lot of times, there's warning signs that leads up to that type of violent bleeding on the brain. My uncle, I give you a good example. I'm going to wrap up here in about 10 minutes. You guys ask me questions, I'm wrapping up in about 10 minutes. My uncle was a smoker, okay? And he didn't have the healthiest diet. And he drank a lot of alcohol, okay? Smoking can cause aneurysms. A lot of alcohol abuse can cause aneurysms. There's anything you abuse can lead to that type of shit to the body. But he was getting very bad headaches. And I remember he went to the doctor. Doctor told him that he should stop doing what he's doing, change his diet up, stop smoking, put the alcohol down. My uncle didn't listen. He went home one day and he had a bad aneurysm. He basically died instantly when he hit the ground. And then his brother, which is my other uncle, came and found him dead in the doorway to their house from an aneurysm. But he was having warning signs, constant headaches, not putting two together and ignoring the doctor's advice. And ultimately, it took my uncle's life back in 2009, right? Pork. Like, I used to love pork chops. I would fry pork chops, and guess what? My blood pressure would rise. It took an older person to tell me, because I would eat them and not think nothing of it. But this is back when I smoked and drank and ate just any fucking goddamn thing food-wise. Didn't really care, right? And I would eat like 2 or 3 fried pork chops and then start drinking, right? And I would get a headache, but I would think maybe I had too many cigarettes that day. Maybe it was the beer. And an older gentleman who is friends with my grandfather, he was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, my head hurt me real bad. And like, it would go on for like hours and it would stop. And he was like, what did you eat? And I told him pork chops. And he said, man, pork will kill you faster than a motherfucker. It raises your blood pressure. Stay away from pork chops, or find other means to cook them or grill them, but don't fry them, right? And when I started to think about it, that type of eating was raising my blood pressure. And if I would have kept eating that way for years and years and years, I would have developed chronic high blood pressure. And over time, I would have run a higher risk of having an aneurysm or stroke. So we just don't know what led to Joe having an aneurysm. But let's just take the girlfriend's word. She was there. I'm pretty sure she knows. See, exactly. The best thing you can do health-wise is stay away from things that can inadvertently raise your blood pressure, right? Training raises it in a good way because the heart is beating faster. You're putting the heart through the motions. Cardio raises it in good ways because, like I said, you're training. You want your blood pressure to be raised in good ways, not from food, not from bad ways, like smoking a pack of smokes. I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, guys. When I was in the military, go through a pack a day. I'm a living witness to those type of headaches. So let's just take the girlfriend's word and let's just go with that. Let's stop speculating this man's death, because I'm telling you, next thing you know, and I'm Greg Biggs Mosquito. I love seeing Greg get his comeuppance. I love watching it because he digs himself into a big ass hole. But I'm actually going to come to Greg Doucette defense on this one. I don't think that Greg is the reason that Joe Linder is deceased. And we shouldn't be jumping on John like that because John just reported what he was seeing and he just made a video. Everybody like, oh, you're dragging Greg's name through the dirt. No, John just reported on what he seen other people saying and he reported it and gave his 2 cents. Same with Vince Goodrum. Everybody jumping on Vince. Vince just giving his 2 cents. Might not be accurate, but he's giving his 2 cents. And he could be right. It could come down to the doctors may determine that the overall cause of death was an aneurysm based on body fat percentage being too lean, imbalance of hormones, and all types of shit. It could come down to that. So even Vince could be correct. Because there are certain things he said that make sense. He believed, though, he ultimately died of a heart attack, which I don't believe that. An aneurysm causes you to bleed out, which will cause a cardiac arrest because you're losing blood pressure. Your blood pressure is slowly going down. You're suffocating. You're dying. And your heart ceases. But the initial cause is an aneurysm, not the actual heart attack itself. Oh, he did? Well, that's what I'm saying. Because he was getting so much backlash. If John took it down, because he was getting backlash, and he didn't want people to think that he was trying to tarnish Joe Linder's name or trying to disrupt or blame Greg Doucette. So I don't blame him. I will lift it up, but I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But guys, if you got any more questions you want me to talk about Joe, ask me now. I'm gonna get out here in about 5 more minutes. But yeah, let's stop all that speculating shit, man. That shit is crazy. No, oh yeah, a lot of but you know what, man? There are a lot of people that's mad with the passing of Joe. Kind of like when Leo died. And so they're going to attack anyone that they think is disrespecting Joe or, especially with Greg Doucette right now. Oh, okay. Now, even with Tony Hughes, guys, and this is why I want to hit home with too. There are people blaming Tony Hughes for Joe Linder because Joe knew Tony and Tony's back in Thailand apparently, and we know Tony dabbles in a lot of exogenous drugs, steroids and shit. But we can't even say that Tony is the reason why Joe is dead. People are like, oh, well, maybe he got a bad stack from Tony Hughes. Look at what happened to Leo. Guys, let's not do that. Even though I can't stand Tony Hughes' guts because how much he lied and avoided the Leo shit, in my opinion, I still don't think he had anything to do with Joe Linder. Oh, yeah, I bet you ain't gonna join, motherfucker. But no, I hope you feel better, though, man. I hope you feel better, though. Like I said, the last show gonna be Saturday, but I hope you feel better, random, like for real, man. It's a lot of stuff going around the air. The ozone ain't been that good. The air pollen is up. It's a lot going on, so I hope you feel better. But yeah, even with Tony Hughes, guys, let's not try to, because I'm telling you, there are videos out, Tony Hughes, he might have had something to do with Joe. Maybe Joe got a bad step from Tony and it inadvertently raised his blood pressure up. No. Let's not do that. I'm going to defense on Tony as well. Let's just take what we know. Leave it at that. Let's not get our panties in a bunch. I actually enjoyed Joesthetics content. I'm gonna miss him. But let's not fucking point fingers at everybody that we don't like because we want to see them burn, crash and burn. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's just keep that aneurysm and talk about some of the things that cause the possible aneurysm and leave it at that. Not Greg Doucette. You guys say ill-advised coaching. Can't blame Greg if they want to do their own thing. Not because the twins stopped talking to Greg because they were already unhealthy and some advice Greg might have gave them. Not because Tony Hughes is a steroid junkie. Let's not do none of that. Leave it at that. All right, guys. I got to go. Short little stream today. I will be back on Saturday. It's going to be an open mic type stream. Don't really have anything in mind worth talking about. I will be making some videos probably around Friday to give you guys some content fitness related and 5 related to my 5 guys. I got some good shit that just got to the house. So I'm going to be doing that on Friday with you guys and keeping you guys up to date. And then I'll be getting back with you guys Saturday on a live stream. Hold on, read this comment. Yeah, Donnie. Yeah. I mean, John's a good guy. Like I say, look, let me end it with this. Everybody that makes videos that come on YouTube, we do it because we want the views, we want the engagement, we want the interaction. I won't be wasting my time doing this live stream if I ain't going to get views. I want to voice my opinion and get it out there. So when we put videos and live streams up, we want them to circulate. Some people take our information, think that we're clout chasing, think that we want just money. A lot of us have money. We don't do YouTube for money. Case in point for me, example. YouTube doesn't pay my bills. So it's a hobby for me. It's just I come on here and I express. And that's what John does. If you look at John right now, John is a guy that don't make a shitload of money off of YouTube. He's a film producer and shit. He makes good money off of YouTube. Someone like Greg Joesthetics makes most of his money on YouTube. So he needs it. So the point I'm trying to make is there are certain content creators that they put up content, it gets scrutinized, right? And that's mainly the big YouTubers, right? They can say one thing and they get taken out of context, okay? And then you get a lot of misinformation. And then next thing you know, we have a war amongst people that's making content about one person. And that's what's going on with Joe Linder. You got multiple YouTubers that want a shit ton of views because they're very big YouTube channels, and they are both going at it with information that isn't adding up. Whereas a small channel like me just giving my honest opinion by everything that I'm seeing, I'm getting some views, but once again, my opinion isn't going to have that much of an effect as, say, someone that have over 1 million fucking subs like Derek from More Days More Plates, Greg Joesthetics, Vigorous Steve, or John for that matter. So when you have genuine people with smaller channels that give their advice, it gets scrutinized a lot of times, and that's what's going on here. But anyway, guys, I gotta go. I will see you guys Saturday, live stream Saturday night, open mic, Discord type shit. I hope you guys have a good week. I'm out, guys. Peace.